So yesterday we discussed about local variables, non-static variables, and today we're going to cover static variables. Static variable means, basically you should understand static means it doesn't change, right? So it is not going to change. And it is common to all objects. Basically, you want to represent a common thing, you will use a static keyword. So if you want to call static members, so you want to call a static members, you don't need object. Because, so why you don't need, I'll tell you all the reasons. And where you will declare these static variables. So static variables, if you declare any variable as a static, if you use a static keyword in the variable syntax, then that variable is called static variable. And if you declare any variable inside the class and outside the method with the static keyword, then that variable is called static variable. See, this is a very, very clear definition. If you declare inside the class, outside the method with the static keyword, then that variable is called static variable. You can declare or assign, both you can do. So declaration and assignment, both you can do. So you declare and assign the value or only declare the variable. Both can be done for the static and non-static variables. Static and non-static variables. So next. So where you can use these static variables? When you can use this static keyword, first of all, static keyword always refers the common property of all objects. It represents the common property of all objects. So example, company name of employees, college name of students. If you want such kind of, common things, if you want to represent, you will use a static keyword. So static variables have to be declared at class level and cannot be declared at method level. So class above only can class inside, method above only can declare. The static variable gets memory only once in the class area at the time of class loading. Let's go here. See, first class file, your Java class file will generate, right? The class file will be loaded into JVM by this class loader. So class loader is a component in the JVM. So the class file will generate for you. This class file contains a bytecode. So this bytecode will be loaded into JVM by class loader component of JVM. So then it will come, once it is loaded, then in the method area or class area, the static variables will go and store only one time. That will be reused n number of times. So memory allocates once only and can be reused n number of times. That's the static variable, how it will be. So even before execution itself, they will be available here. Once a class is loaded, and it will come and store in this method area memory. Okay. So, but only one time memory allocates for that. So that's why it saves the memory basically. So, and where you can use these static variables, you can use in the static method as well as a non-static method. Both places you can use without any restrictions. So static variable where you can use in the static methods, you can use directly in the same class. Even in the non-static method also you can call. Why? Because it's a common property. If you make it as a static, it's a common to all. So that's why if you want to call one variable in both the methods, so what kind of variable you need to declare? Static variable. So you declare where you can declare the static variables?
Inside
Above
the
the methods,
Inside the class, outside
inside the
method.
class with the static keyword. So that is the static variable syntax. What is the static variable syntax? Access modifier, static
Data type variable.
data type, variable name
Variable.
equal to value semicolon. That's a static variable syntax. So static final variable syntax. So access modifier, final or static. This you can swap. First you can call static, then you can call final, or first you can call final, then static. Both are okay, no problem. Access modifier, static, final, data type, variable name equal to value. This is the final variable. This is the normal variable. So how we will write a final variable names? Remember, final variable names you have to write all letters should be in capital letter. But normal variable names you should not write like that. So you have to follow the first alphabet lowercase and camel case you have to follow. First word all lowercase and second word onwards, each word first letter, capital letter. That's our naming conventions of a normal variable. But final variable naming conventions, so every letter should be capital letter. If underscore you will use between the words to join the words. That's a final variable names, how you will write. Any final variable, it's a local final variable or non-static final variable or static final variable. All final variable means you have to write capital letters. Clear? See, public final static int min words equal to 300. So can I change this min words to some other value from 300 to some other value?
No,
No chance, sir. Final is there.
because it's final.
That's what just says final is there. This 300 is a final in this variable. You cannot change. See, if you change, what will happen? See, I'm calling
error,
this variable. This variable equal to min words plus 25. What I'm doing in this line, can you tell me?
Adding, we are adding a number.
for 300 to 25.
For minimum words value, what is the value? Minimum words value 300.
300.
For 300 and 25, I'm adding and then what I'm doing? Okay, this is the addition. Then what I'm doing?
Again, we are
Assigning to same variable. But this assignment
the
is
value,
not
sir.
possible. It will throw compile time error for you. Why it is not possible? Final variable cannot be assigned back one more value. New value cannot be assigned. Once you assign, that's the final. You cannot change. Next line, you cannot give a new value for this. This minimum words, you cannot, there is no assignment for the final variable. But normal variable, you can change at any point of time. At any point of time, you can change normal variable values. That's the all static variables, how you can use. And the difference between static variables and non-static variables is static variables can access them using class name. So always static belongs to class. Non-static belongs to objects. So how can you access non-static variables and non-static methods? Using object reference. Static variables, how can you access? Always with the class name. So static variables can access them with the static methods as well as non-static methods. Static variables you can use inside the static methods as well as non-static methods also. No restriction on that. So non-static variables can be accessed only in non-static methods only. Non-static variables in non-static method only, but static in both the methods. So static variables are allocated memory only once while loading the class. So when they will allocate memory, loading the class time, the memory will be allocated here. So once a class is loaded by class loader component, it will come and store here. But what about the non-static variables? They won't store here. Only at a runtime, they will get memory if you create object. If you're not creating object, they won't create memory at all. So non-static variables, a memory per object is allocated. So when you create object, memory is going to be allocated for them. So static variables are shared by all objects or instance of the class. Each object has its own copy of non-static variables. Each object has its own copy of non-static variables. Static variables have global scope and non-static variables have only local scope. Local scope means within that object only. Only for that object you can use. So, but static variables you can use so across the project anywhere. That's the static variable and also saves the memory. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Ramesh.
Okay. So let's move on now. So this is all okay. So I'll tell you this. See pi value 3.14, static final double E. So this one like this. So you will use math. This is the math class utils and employee class variables you can declare per private static int. So this private means you can use only in this class only, not outside the method. So that I'll tell you all those things. These are just examples for your understanding purpose. See final variables. Final variable, so it's a non-access modifier keyword. Final can be applied on class, method, variable. So final variable value cannot be changed. So all its letters should be in capital letter and must be connected with underscore. That's our final variables, how we will write. So this is some of the questions, okay? Can you access static variables under non-static method? Can you access static variables under non-static methods?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, access.
Yeah, you can access, right? Static variables anywhere you can access. Can you access non-static variables under static method?
Not access.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
No, non-static in non-static method only.
Method only.
So can static variables be used with the static methods? Yes.
Yes.
Can static variables be used with the non-static methods? Yes. Can non-static variables be used with the static method? No. Can non-static variables be used with the non-static methods? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Non-static variables can be used with the non-static methods. Yes. So these are the very important points. Please keep them in mind. Okay. So we'll come back and so then we'll go for the